Ever wondered what the result would be if you mix a typical Ghibli style of storytelling and imagination with the animation power of the studio behind Legend of Korra and Voltron? Well, then you get the movie Big Fish and Begonia. Let's review. Big Fish and Begonia, or Dayu Haitang as it is known in Chinese, and I'm sorry if I butchered that pronunciation, is the first fully animated feature by the Chinese animation studio B&T Studio with support from the Korean studio Mir, the studio which is best known for their work on The Legend of Korra and Voltron Legendary Defender. It's been circulating in festival circuits and will have a limited theater run later on this year. Manga UK, for example, has announced it will have a limited theater run in the UK starting April the 18th. And I have been lucky enough to have seen it at the Brussels Anima Festival last weekend. So, these are my thoughts. This story takes place in the spirit realm filled to the brim with spiritual beings from Chinese myths and legends. Our main character Chun participates in a yearly coming-of-age ceremony where all spiritual beings born in the same year are transported to our human realm for a period of 7 days. They do this so that every spirit knows what the human realm is really like and what humans are really like. But since they are spiritual beings, they cannot take their spiritual form. No, they have to take the shape of a creature from our human planet. This is the shape of a red dolphin. When Chun enters the human realm, she notices a small family consisting of a teenage boy, his younger sister, and the bestest of good boys. The trio enjoys watching the yearly appearance of the red dolphins near their house. The family travels in a boat alongside the dolphins for a while, and the teenage boy plays a dolphin-shaped ocarina which charms our dolphin-shaped Chun. All spiritual beings travel around the world, and after 7 days they slowly are returning to the spiritual realm. But wouldn't you know, humans are dicks. In the region of the return path, Chun sees many dolphins getting caught by fishermen and she eventually gets stuck herself in a fishing net. The teenage boy notices the red dolphin is struggling to get out of the fishing nets and dives into the water in the middle of the stormy weather to free the dolphin. He succeeds in doing so, but by accident Chun knocks him out. This causes him to get sucked into a nearby whirlpool and drown. Yes, he drowns. Filled with regret, Chun takes the ocarina and returns to the spirit realm. While her family is glad that she returned without any physical harm, Chun wants to find a way to right her own wrongdoings. And this through mystical means. And honestly, I have no better way of describing this without spoiling some nice imagery. She ends up with a caretaker of human spirits. This is the place where human souls go to after they die. They end up in some sort of library of human souls, filled with fishing bowls and very tiny dolphins that represent these human souls. The Keeper of Souls gives Chun a proposition. He can revive the dolphin that houses the spirit of the drowned boy in exchange for half of her life force. Due to her regret, she accepts this Faustian bargain. She gains the fish bowl with the human spirit, and the Keeper of Spirits explains the rules. She has to nurture the tiny baby dolphin into a full-grown creature, then find a portal to the human world similar to the portal used in the coming-of-age ceremony, and use a token from the human world to help the creature go home. Once a dolphin is returned, he will take back human shape and forget everything that happened in the spirit realm. But the path towards returning the dolphin to the human world is a path filled with peril. The other spirits shouldn't know about this deal since this is a thing of taboo. Not only that, it appears that by accepting this deal, lots of various weather calamities are happening throughout the spirit realm. While the other spirits are seeking to find the root cause of these calamities, Chun and her neighborhood friend Zhu try their best to keep the dolphin out of the hands of the other spirits. And what happens next is a pure Ghibli-style adventure that is best left unspoiled. Let's talk about my experience with this movie. This movie was better than I ever thought it would be. It nearly blew my mind. The art, the animation was really good. And honestly, I can't seem to find the difference between what the Chinese studio did and what the Korean studio Mir did. Because this entire movie looks like it could be a sequel or prequel to The Legend of Korra. But honestly, I don't mind. I love The Legend of Korra, I love the Avatar series. And the episodes that took place in the Spirit Realm are some of my absolute favorites. I don't know all that much about Chinese mythology, but this movie sure made me curious. I want to know more about these creatures, about these spirits and their powers. So if I would get a chance to see more of the same, I'm genuinely curious to see it. There are though a few downers to this movie. For starters, I'm not really a big fan of the main character Chun. She has somewhat of a split personality and flip-flops between them. It's basically a very cold and emotionless emotion to very heartwarming, a kind and caring, and something as if it would come straight out of a Ghibli movie. They honestly should have stuck with the second part, but we also see a lot from the first Chun. And honestly, that makes her character at moments really unlikable. Especially if you start thinking that a lot of what she does nearly destroys the entire spirit realm, and that entirely for her selfish reasons. Also, I feel like several story points are left unfinished. The story arc of one character in particular just stops, with everybody in the audience wondering what happened to that character. I can't say who because it would be spoiling quite a few plot twists, but in general that makes me feel like the movie was cut for time constraints. If there ever is a sequel to this movie or a full-fledged TV series, there is at least one character of which I want to know how she ended up. Oh, and one more thing. You probably may have noticed already, but the title? Big Fish and Begonia? Big Fish? Dolphins aren't fish! They're mammals! Yes, I know the Chinese title literally means Big Fish and Begonia, but the localization team could have just tapped on the shoulder of the Chinese production crew and said, yeah, you know about the title, you might want to change it. And honestly, Dolphin and Begonia or Big Fish and Begonia wouldn't have made any difference. In fact, it would have been more accurate, and you might have lured in a few people more because dolphins are cute creatures. People like dolphins. So why? But in the end, those are just a few minor gripes. Overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It's a great theatrical start for Studio B&T, and certainly a movie worth checking out if it plays in a theater near you. Definitely worth checking out. I'm giving this a solid 8 out of 10. Have you seen Big Fish and Begonia? What do you think of it? What do you think of Chinese animation in general? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like what I do, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of me. And until next time, V out.